I was watching a teaching, and this really highlighted to me and actually puts emphasis actually on these two verses, and how gold is used as kind of used as an example to represent faith for a reason. And I'm going to read this version where it's been used as gold in Peter 1 from verse 6, and it says, "In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various trials, that the genuineness of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ." So gold, which I didn't know, is with gold, it's one of those things where you can melt it, you can mold, you can do all these things with gold, and its whole formula doesn't change, it stays the same. Hence why gold is seen as like a precious metal, because you can do all sorts to it and its formula isn't changed, if that makes any sense. So its properties don't other than the properties inside of what makes a gold doesn't change. Obviously the properties change if you melt it and stuff, but the actual what makes up the gold actually doesn't change. So I never knew that. So when we're comparing the faith of gold, as I said, you can bash gold and melt it, do whatever you want, shape it to whatever, it doesn't change. And obviously the verse in verse 6, when he talks about when we go through many different trials, we can be pushed, like gold, pushed to the limits, but out of it will come, rejoice in it, because out of it, as we hear before, we're tested, but then we learn things from our testings and all sorts of stuff like that. So when it's comparing to gold, obviously gold eventually will perish, will perish, where so there's that. But our faith, or us, we won't perish, but it has the same faith has the same characteristics. I can't speak. If you've been watching this channel for a while, I'm very bad at speech. But anyway, the same characteristics as gold, as in, faith. You can bash it about and stuff, but faith is strong. It's strong, and through that bashing and that melting and everything like that, it stays the same. So it's the same with gold. So it puts that emphasis on that verse and how it means greatly as to why gold is being used as an example, because gold can go through a lot, and so can our faith. Our faith can also go through a lot, but the only difference is that gold is perishable, where faith isn't necessarily, us, and faith isn't perishable. But yeah, it just, maybe it would help you. I thought I'd share it because I found it very interesting. I was like, that makes so much more sense now as it's used. Like, it makes it easier and opens your eyes more to that verse, to know that actually the reason behind why gold's being used quite a bit in the Bible to compare to like faith and all sorts of in this aspect where it's talking about like faith and stuff, it's because it's a very, very strong metal. Not strong metal and is in it can be used to build stuff with it, but as strong as its characteristics of what it's made up to is very strong and is very unchangeable. So yeah, I thought I'd share that with you as well, because that was a real eye